Kia ora, I'm David Chester with 90 at 9, brought to you by interest.co.nz. This week at everything you need to know in 90 seconds at 9 o'clock, with news at face value at least. The US banking crisis appears to have passed. American regulators are uncovering some very questionable practices at the banks they've closed or taken over, but the crisis does seem to have passed. Equity markets are recovering the share price of many regional banks in the US as they deem the regulator actions successful over the weekend. In the absence of the banking industry issues, today's American inflation report for February would have been a big deal. In the event, it reported CPI inflation running at 6%, the rate markets were expecting, and down from 6.4% in January. The annualised rate between January and February fell below 5%. This is progress of a sort, but still a long way from the Fed's 2% target. And food prices were up 9.2% year on year, and they kept the rate up, and by more than expected. But petrol prices fell 2% and were the major restraining factor. Rents were up 8.1%, and another major factor keeping up the rate elevated, and that kept their core inflation at 5.5%. US retail sales had another weak week, up a mere 2.6% from year-ago levels on a same-store basis. Despite easing inflation pressures, their retail impulse can't keep up with retail inflation, so retail volumes keep sliding. This is the second straight week with this feature. Meta, that is Facebook, said it was laying off 10,000 employees in a major restructuring and downsizing. Another 5,000 current vacancies will be left unfilled. Meta currently has 76,000 employees. And China is relaxing visa requirements for outbound tourism. They have added another 40 countries to its list, for which allows group tours, bringing the total number of countries to 60. New Zealand is included in this latest list, but the list still excludes Japan, South Korea, Australia, and the United States. In Australia, there were 2 consumer sentiment surveys out for March, and both were quite weak, holding near 30-year lows. Equally concerning is that consumer inflation expectations are rising there. Not quite so negative is Australian business sentiment, as monitored by the respected NAB survey. It shifted sharply lower too in February, but only to a level we last saw in November. Confidence may be fragile and volatile, they report, but conditions remain quite strong. The US Treasury 10-year yield starts today at 3.61% and recovering 8 basis points from this time yesterday. And the price of gold will open today at $1,909 an ounce and down $2 from this time yesterday, but essentially holding its new higher level. And oil prices start today down $2 at just under $73 a barrel in the US, while the international Brent price is now just on $78.50 a barrel. And the Kiwi dollar has remained firm, still at 62.2 US cents. Against the Aussie was still at 93.4 Australian cents, and the high for the year. Against the euro were firm too at 58.1 euro cents. That keeps our trade-weighted index at 70.6 and 50 basis points higher than week ago levels. Get more news affecting the economy in New Zealand from interest.co.nz. Kia ora, I'm David Chaston. That was 90 at 9, brought to you by interest.co.nz.